This is what happens when you leave a car sitting. This car's been sitting for 2 years, 2011 Roomster. There is reasons why it's been sitting, but I'll show you. All the gear linkages completely seized, and wiper just, yeah. So we gotta fix it. Skoda Roomster, watch this, put it in reverse, it goes forward. You ready? See that? It goes forward. In reverse, goes forward. What is wrong? Right, I didn't manage to film all of this because it was pointless. It was just things like brakes and stuff. We took it for a drive, brakes smoking, calipers gone, brake pads gone, discs gone, everything from leaving it sitting. Also, which I've lost a video, you'll see in the beginning, the lights on. The electric power steering went, so we also needed to replace the electric power steering pump. All because it was sitting. And after I did this, a couple of days after I did all this work, other problems happened, which you'll see in the videos. All because it was just it was just left sitting. Right, I've often said it. Having a car sitting, doing nothing, low mileage cars, they're not always the best. This car was sitting for a couple of years, and you can see all this white stuff. I showed that in another video on what happened to an ECU. In that case, you can even see the ECU here. Right, so what happened with this one, I've already done a video on this before, but basically this it's a really bad design. This seizes inside here, it's just plastic, and of course this this metal just basically rusts inside and clamps the plastic together, and it seizes and breaks. So it's just a really bad design. But of course, with this car not being running for a long time, it's all seized and actually snapped this time. Now the only good thing is, normally you'd have to buy a whole gear linkage set, which is very expensive, and you only need one part. But lucky enough, we can actually buy, and we've actually brought the parts separately. Now they're all main dealer parts because that's the only place you can get them. This is the little, see it here, this is the little plastic and it breaks. But all these bits, wiper linkages, again, wiper linkages you can just buy separately, which is unusual. Normally you can't, you have to buy the whole lot. These are all the bits. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to I've already done a video on my YouTube channel of this, so I'm just gonna, I'll quickly overview this, but we need to get this out, that pin out there. We need to clean all the metal inside there because there's rust jacketing, and then we are good to go. Put everything back and we should have gears. Okay, we've taken off the top selector fork. Oh, my battery's just gone in my light, and there is a master spline on here, so you can't get that wrong, which is obviously really good. So what we've got to do now is we've got to take off the bottom, but I need to get a torch. Right, I've got to quickly do this before the torch goes again. I've just quickly turned it back on. So we've got a master spline there. I like to push this down and lock it. This will twist up and pull up quite a bit. There it goes again. Oh. Okay, we've got a bit of light on. So I push down this lever and it kind of locks. I don't know what gear it's in. It could be in third gear, but it doesn't really matter. It just stops this pin from coming all the way up. You do have to be very careful. There's roller bearings inside here. And if you start levering this at a funny angle, you could break that bearing and then you're in serious trouble. There is two splines we need to take off there, or triple squares if you're in America. Then we can take off this, and then we can actually work on this out of the car, because we need to hit this out and we need to clean all the inside here, and it's a lot easier doing it off the car. So I'm just going to take that off, but like I said, I've done a more in-depth video on this. I'm going to take this off now and we'll get cleaning it. Right, there we go. So it's off. Now, a couple of things. You can see all the blue sealer I put on there, but also note, look, none of it is gone on top and none of it is gone inside. Absolutely none of it. People always make the mistake of just piling too much stuff on, and it goes inside, falls inside things, and especially in an automatic gear, not that this is an automatic gearbox, especially in an automatic gearbox, can cause lots of problems. There's lots of passages and stuff that the oil needs to go through, and in engines and everything, it can just blow things up. They're the roller bearings I was telling about. Be very, very careful with them. Now, this is also, you got to remember your reverse light switch is all in here, so don't touch any of this. Make sure that's all, it doesn't really move anyway, but don't try and pull it out, don't do anything, just leave it there. And I'm going to clean this up now and at the same time, look at that. Try and unseize. Well, it's just hit that out and clean that as best I can. So yeah, just it's a nightmare of a design, stupid design really, but we're getting there. Right, I had to drill it out because I just couldn't get it out any other way. Now the drill bit is smaller than this. Do not be tempted to try and drill this out, the actual housing, thinking, oh, I'll drill it out a little bit more, it won't seize. That has to be a snug fit, because otherwise you won't be able to select gears properly. So I'm just drilling out the plastic, then I'm going to clean it with some sandpaper or emery cloth, but I'm not going to widen the hole, because you will be in trouble then. Right, as you can see, hopefully the camera's picking this up, you can see I'm left with like a ring of plastic all the way around the outside. So I'm just going to get a little screwdriver in there and a pick, and hopefully that will all come off. That is the downside of drilling it out. It is best to punch it all out, but it just wouldn't move for me. So I had to drill it out in the end, unfortunately.
Kind of expensive.
Just one second. Just hold that for me. Just hold that. Just like that. Yes. Right, a really easy way to clean this if you haven't got any kind of special tools. Get a drill bit smaller than the hole, sandpaper, and just drill it. The sandpaper will go in there and it'll clean it all absolutely lovely for you. Look at the job it does. Perfect. Right, that's the piece that was left after I drilled it out. So it all came out in one piece, which was nice. This is now the piece cleaned. Hopefully you can see that. We can go through there, look, nice and clean. Now, issue is, you're tempted to put grease on here. Don't. It calls for nothing. The service manual calls for absolutely nothing. It's kind of just it's a fit. You put grease in here, it can attract dust and cause it to stick and grind and cause all sorts of problems. So yeah, it's just essentially a dry fit and hope for the best. I know it sounds crazy, but this particular one seized because it wasn't being used, but it did seize before in use. So it's just an inherent bad design, essentially. There's no two ways about it. We've got a really nice fit in here now. So that slides in really nice, as you can see. And it's a nice fit. So that's all we can do. I got to reseal that, put it all back together and test it. Just putting this back on now, and I was just explaining to the customer who was right beside me that if I get this wrong, we might not have proper gears. But at the minute, we've got no reverse gear. So if we've got 5 reverse gears after I've done this wrong, then that's better than what we started with. Isn't that right, Will?
Yes.
Exactly. So you have to think of the upside of these things. 5 reverse gears, at the minute we've got 0. So we're getting there. All right, it's all kind of back on, and this is what I mean. You see there how that kind of lifts up, so you push it down and you can lock it into place. It just makes it a little bit easier. It's not the end of the world, but it just makes it a little bit easier for you to put everything back on. So now what we've got to do is we've got to get the new plastic bit on, but we've got to put it inside here and on in there at the same time. All right, so what we need to do is we need to put this little tab so inside here, but also at the same time this has to fit inside there, not like that, because once you put that gear linkage on, this will not be able to move inside there. So make sure that's all on like it is there now. But as you can see, look, that's nice and loose, nice and free, sorry. Now what I've got to do, this special clip needs to go in at the back just to hold that from coming back out like that. See that? That can't come back out now. Put the gear linkages back on and we should have all the gears. Just select all the gears for me and reverse, please.
Okay, so first, second, third, fourth, fifth, reverse.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. New filter, because we are going to we are going to be doing a service on it. So as I'm putting that back in, I might as well bang the new filter in now. Right, we are in the car. It is started. We've got a load of lights on the dash, but we're not worried about that. What we are worried about is, does it go into reverse? It sounds like it does in the gearbox. Oh, it does. We're in reverse. We're in reverse, but can we get first? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to turn this round now so I can do the service a lot better. Right, it drove okay, apart from every time I braked, all the big drips were dripping down off the sunroof onto my old head. And you just see it there. I don't know, you can't, but look at that. Lock. We're just gonna do the service now. Right, so we've got loads of codes, and I just think, especially the airbag stuff, it's just going to be battery related, I'm guessing. You know, low voltage stuff, and relearn the steering angle sensor. Let's just see. Oh no, we've got issues. Possibility. Now these could still be caused because of the battery. Yeah, the light's gone out, so still battery related. Now we'll have to obviously take it for a drive. I'm just going to go through all these other codes. Again, this car hasn't been started, and it's been tried to over the last 2 years, and then even I tried to start it today, the battery was low. So some of these is going to be low battery faults, some of them are going to be, let's just see what's in the engine. Hopefully you can see. Yeah, that's nothing again. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to go through all these, relearn the steering angle sensor, and finish the rest of the service. Oh. Right, we've more or less done the service now, but like I always say, it's always good to go around everything to check. And because this car hasn't been, you know, ran in the last couple of years, you can see here, look, all these clips are all broke. They're all rusted and completely and utterly broke, so we have to replace all these. It's not a big deal, but it's something to be aware of. These are things that could cause you issues in the future, so this is why you need to check absolutely everything. And when you're doing a service is a good time to do all this, because the cover covers most that you won't really see. Just give everything a good look once over. This is why I'm saying, when you buy a car with low mileage, it's not necessarily good. A car being stood doing nothing, these issues happen, where if this car was being ran, it wouldn't have happened so quick. So, you know, low mileage cars that don't run are not good, unless you're talking maybe of, you know, £3 million supercars, hypercars. Yeah, that's slightly different, but you know, on a normal car, no, it just isn't. Okay, so we got everything off. This is the old one, and again, we're so lucky that we can buy these separately. Normally you have to buy, especially from the main dealer, the whole wiper mechanism, everything normally, but with these we just had to buy, and I think these were like only €3 or €4 each. Again, main dealer part, main dealer number. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's obviously a good thing, but essentially rust jacketing as well. That you can't really see, but yeah, it's just all gone rusty and popped off. And once that happens, once it pops off, you just have to replace it. But we could have an issue with the spindle here. I don't think we will, but we might have to, or we might. Right, this is Murphy's Law here. Normally, like I said, you buy the whole gear linkages, it comes as one. Sometimes it even comes with a motor. That's how you buy it from, you know, from the main dealer. This, I can just buy the things, but typical, this spindle is a bit seized. This one is just moving so nice and easy. And this one, I mean, I've got it free now, but it's a little bit seized. It's not as free as the other one, so I'm trying to work it now, trying to unfreeze it. Normally this isn't an issue, because like I said, you get the whole thing. Now, the first time I've managed to get just these from the main dealer, I'm now running into this issue. It's just Murphy's Law. Normally, the spindles are fine. These go, and you can just buy them, but the main dealer sells a whole lot. This case, I can buy them, and now we've got issues with the spindles. Just typical. Work smart, not hard. Let it unseize itself. Sorted. Hi, just needs a wash now. Hey, sorted. There we go. Let's give it a wash. Right, now look at it. Look at the difference. It's clean. It's all one colour, kind of. Skoda, VAG, Volkswagen, whatever you want to call it, heater plug light flashing, missing like crazy, and it's a diesel, so you know it's going to be injector issues. Right, the crazy thing is, over a 2-week period we ended up replacing all 4 injectors. Now the customer got them second hand. I always advise people to get brand new injectors, but the crazy thing is you cannot get brand new injectors. This was when, well, it still is now, it's very difficult to get parts. But the other crazy thing is I couldn't get brand new injectors anywhere without like a 3-month waiting list. But the second-hand injectors are only 30 euros cheaper than brand new ones, because they know, the scrapyards know you can't get new ones, and they've jacked up the price stupidly for second-hand injectors. So this car is still going around with 4 second-hand injectors at practically the same price as 4 brand new ones. How stupid is everything getting? It's ridiculous. 1.6 diesel, which is in a lot of the VAG group. As you can see, 73,000 miles, and we have engine light on and a flashing glow plug light, and it's in limp mode. That's my foot welded down, won't rev up, won't go anywhere. Yeah, so let's plug it in and see, but I'm guessing injectors, but we'll see. Right, just as I thought, injector fault. Both of them both of them are to do with injector, but cylinder number 1 is the one it's really not happy with, so we're going to check that one first. Right, I just quickly checked the injector, and there's just no control in it whatsoever. So what we can actually do, we can actually test the solenoid itself to see if it's a solenoid or the actual injector itself. I reckon it's the solenoid personally, but we'll see. Okay, I've just turned off the car. This is the number 1 that it's having issues with, but when I'm looking down here, there's also a hell of a lot of diesel. Might not be able to see it on camera, but that's just full of diesel. So we've got a leak as well, maybe an injector leaking or something. But we'll just concentrate on number 1 first, just to see what the story is. Right, this is how I'm going to test the injector. Now, I can't test the spray pattern of the injector, but what we can do with this machine, this is an insulator tester by Mega, it's unbelievable. We can check the ohms of it, and we can also check the solenoid. Now, I've showed this to a good few YouTubers. I've had this for a good few years now, and they all love it. A lot of them have done videos on it, which is obviously brilliant. But of course, they never said who they saw it from first. But anyway, it is what it is. So I've made this little pigtail. This is for a Siemens injector. I think that's what, yeah, Siemens injector. I've made them for a few different injectors. It's just easy. You don't really need to make this. But when you get injectors from scrapyards and stuff, they normally cut the plug off, so you can get these plugs fairly handy, or you can just go to a scrapyard and get a load and just make these pigtails. It just saves you having to hold the leads in there. So take the plug off, put this one on. I'll hook my test up to it, and we'll do an ohms test, and we'll do an insulation test, and you can actually do it on all the injectors. Now, what we're looking for is around 200 mega ohms or close to, and we're looking for over 105 volts when we do the insulation test on it. I have seen them to be around 60, 70, 80 volts, which is technically a fail, but the car still like it and it's still to run fine. But they are worn at that. This is what you can do for a customer's car. You can actually test the health of the injectors without having to, you know, do anything major, take anything off or disconnect anything as such. You can do it so you can tell the customer, look, you might have an issue with your injectors shortly. It's like a good maintenance thing to do anyway. So I'm just going to put these on here now. We're going to do a few tests. The other good thing about the installation test is I've seen, and I am going to be doing a video on it, but I have seen even a scope, if you've got an intermittent injector fault on the solenoid, a scope doesn't even necessarily catch it, where the installation test straight away catches it. That's why I always prefer to do an installation test on the solenoid rather than a scope test, because it's just instant and it's a lot quicker to set up. Okay, it's set up. Now there is a little button you can press on the lead, but there's also a button on the unit itself. So I'm just going to go to kilowatt ohms first. Yeah, I mean that's just nothing. 0.4 should be close to 200. I've just hit my head on that fucking thing. So yeah, I can tell you straight away, solenoid's gone, just like I thought. No point even going any further, but we will. Just hit my head again. This should be over 105 volts, and it's 0.6 of a volt. So absolutely, completely and utterly destroyed. Need to change it instantly. This is why it's best to have the tools, because things like this, instant. I'm not guessing. I know it's not a wiring issue. I know it's not an ECU issue. I know it's nothing. I know that that's the problem. So takes all the guesswork out of it. Yes, these aren't particularly cheap, but it's just saved me a few hours work, which saves the customer money, saves everybody money, and hey, I like pressing buttons anyway, so you know, I'm happy as well. Right, we are cutting the new seal, or the new seat, because again it's just best to. So I'm using the Hobby Cut Tools kit, and this is the one I need. I just put a tiny bit of grease on the bottom, just so when I cut it, all the little bits just stick to it. It doesn't really do any damage to the engine, but if we can just catch some of the bits, or most of the bits, look, it's just better. But it won't really do any damage if it goes through your engine, because it's very, very small flakes. Right, hope you can see that nice new shiny seat now. Look at that, beautiful. And unfortunately with this, because of the way it's designed, where is that? Because it holds one bolt holds 2 injectors down. Even though I wasn't going to touch this particular injector number 2, I'm going to have to cut the seat on that as well, just to be on the safe side, just to make sure it doesn't leak. So there we go, I'll do that. We'll get this thing started. Right, look at that, people. Awesome, absolutely awesome. And I can tell you now that that injector is good. The fact that it's going minus, it's really, really good. Engine light is still on. I might, but I'm gonna have to reset everything. So reset all the values for the injectors and everything, just to allow the computer to be happy, and clear all the fault codes. But look, the compressor, the injector is actually working now. Remember, before it was completely stuck. Now it's actually doing something, which is really, really good, and I'm really happy with their numbers. I'll do a separate video on what the numbers mean and what to look for in another video, but yeah, it's good. So we'll show you what a good injector should look like. So we'll do the ohms test. That's good. Very close to 200 kilo ohms, which is what you want. Then we'll do the insulation test. And what the other one was, 0.6. Look at that, 108, and it's holding it. That's also an important thing. Make sure it's holding it, because sometimes it can go up to 105, but you want more than 105, but then it'll slowly go down, and it goes down quite quick. That's holding 108. So that injector there, even though it's second-hand, the solenoid part is absolutely perfect. Right, so there we go. We are back, and the car is clean. And for a while anyway, and it seems to, the steering hasn't come back, but I can't communicate with the module for the steering, so I think the electric steering, there's an issue with that. But it's all good, it's clean, it's starting, it's driving, so it's good to go. But that's what happens when you leave a car parked for a couple of years. As always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most important, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.